What is up, world? It is Mikey from Immortals Inc. podcast. Welcome to another episode. I am here with my friends Ron and Josh, the Blood Bowl Masters, and I'm gonna let you guys take away what we're talking about today because I have no idea.
Okay, so here we are, not even a full week past the release of Blood Bowl Season 3, and everything is ruined, and everyone is angry.
I've got my pitchfork in the back.
Immortals Inc. isn't just a great podcast with a couple of good-looking guys.
It's an actual brick-and-mortar store.
Immortals Inc. stocks all the latest RPG, miniature, and card games. Check out our selection of the latest releases, along with some of our most popular games and toys that you might have loved for years.
We run events with different games being highlighted daily, along with special premium events. With 3 gaming areas, we have plenty of room for everyone. We even have a private gaming area for rent, in case you want to run that special game.
If you're not in the Cleveland, Ohio area, you can shop our entire store online at www.immortalsinc.com. You can even access our card singles catalog there.
Enjoy the store and podcast at immortalsinc.com. That's immortalsinc.com.
Even though the rulebook has sort of been available pre-release online, or at least portions of it, people have had some time to really digest into it, and everybody is saying, hold on a minute. What did you mean by this? And there's roughly 5 big sort of contentions in the rule book at the moment right now. And let's talk about those. Let's talk about these 5 sort of issues in the rule book. If you want to pick one. So
let's go ahead and also set the other stage here.
Yes.
This was also supposed to be the big piece that, like, we're going to make this the most rules-friendly edition. We were supposed to clarify everything. We shouldn't have 2 different reasons for knocking down or being put down, which is going to be the thing I'm jumping right into.
Clarification was the big point of this new edition. We're really going to make everything clarified and
we're going to
easy
make
to
it
understand.
Super easy to get into. That's why everything's in one box, which is another thing why everyone had their pitchforks originally, but we put them down because we don't get what we always want.
Yeah, this video is not about roster changes. This is it's rules.
Straight
issues.
rules
So,
issues.
yeah, pick one.
So again, like I said, there should not be 2 different reasons why there's a difference between falling down and being placed down. And the big change on this is, like, if I were to go ahead and enter into trapdoor space, which is a thing on the prayers and Nuffle table that sucks to happen. It happened last weekend for me.
Yes, it actually did.
It did. Nothing happened to it because we all knew just to ignore these 2 squares, so it's completely a stupid thing, but whatever. If I were to go ahead and walk into a spot that is being pushed there or whatever, that is entering a spot. That is, you can immediately fall down and go into this trap hole. If I were placed into that spot, completely different rule. It does not trigger anything, trigger
moving into and being placed in are
2 different things.
Are weird points of contention that people are arguing about. Yeah, they're saying, yeah.
It makes no sense. Identical rules as intended. They should be identical, but they are using 2 different editors here, so that's the problem. And we'll go ahead and have that.
Too many chefs, I think, is a point we'll come back to. But another sort of folded into this issue as well, and part of the movement issue is, this is one I'm not seeing people argue about a lot online, but I'm surprised, is another issue with movement is rushing.
Okay.
In the previous rule book, it was very clear that you were only allowed to rush after you had expended all of your character's movement. But for whatever reason, this time they forgot to put that in. So people are saying, well, you can now make a rush at the beginning or the middle of your movement instead of always at the end. But no, that's not how it works. But again, poring over the rule book, it does not specifically clarify that you can only rush at the end of your movement, which, you know, and we're gonna dip into this as well. Rules as written versus rules as intended. I mean, I think for most of these issues we're gonna talk about, I think people are gonna understand that this is an issue of rules as written versus intended. And I think I'm thinking Games Workshop is probably gonna put out an additional errata or FAQ or something probably after we film this, explaining that, oh no, this is actually what we meant, so you can interpret it this way. But
Just
as
came
of
out
right
5 minutes
now,
ago.
As of right now, all these issues we're going to be talking about are still up in the air. There's been no further clarification yet. So that's the movement issue.
We're forgetting the other movement issue.
Oh, there's a third one?
Yeah.
Okay, we're still on point 1, by the way.
Point 1.5, because this one kind of dips into some other stupid things. So they decided to go ahead and take a video game logic issue and basically said you can never go negative. So there is now an issue called Agility 1+.
Oh, this is separate from movement, but yes.
It's close enough because it ties.
Well,
back
technically, this also ties into if any of your stats get to 1+,
Yes.
which passing can also theoretically get into this 1+ messy territory as well. But yes, so there's a problem now. If you get your characters so good that they become a 1+ in certain stats, it breaks the game because of how they've tried to attempt to clarify how everything works. Yeah, you were talking about it. You go ahead. Keep going.
Basically, at any one point, if you can go ahead and have 1+, you're supposed to fail on a 1 no matter what. It's kind of how
when you roll a 6-sided die, a 1 always fails.
supposedly. Not anymore.
Not anymore.
Unless it's passing, because passing specifically says it fails on a 1.
Oh, okay.
That's specifically in passing. That's why passing 1+ isn't a thing. But agility, strength, which is really stupid because there isn't a really good strength check, but there are other 1+ initiatives here. So specifically it is agility, which can happen on very specific models.
There are some star players that start with 1 agility, and a lot of elf-style players can get to 1 agility pretty quick.
So the big issue on this is basically saying what used to happen in previous editions and previous logic was if you have a bunch of people around you, say you're in the worst cage possible, which is 8 people around your one guy, and you're trying to leap over, you're at -8. We'll go ahead and do -7 so that we at least have 1 spot out.
Yeah, theoretically, yeah.
So instead of leaping, you're just dodging to the one side. So at that point, you should be at -7 on your check, which should basically say it's impossible. As of current rule now, instead of it going ahead and dropping into the negatives, it's now at 1. So if you have agility 1, that's all you have to make. So that's it. You can't go below it. It doesn't drop your modifiers down. It's the dumbest rule. But I think again, this is rules as written.
Some weird as written rules where it seems like 2 different people have written 2 sides of this rule where one person says 1 always fail and another person says, well, no, we're not talking about modifiers anymore. We're talking about modifying the die roll.
Right.
Not factoring in modifiers into the right. You understand all this. This makes perfect sense to you, right, Mikey?
What do you think they were lazy doing this, or what do you think it was?
I think it was
video games.
I think it was 2 people that weren't talking to each other. And we'll come back to this point again. I got something to talk about. Different departments not talking to each other.
So I think it's actually they were talking with their video game company. Because they were
Cyanide?
I think they were talking about Cyanide, because what happens is you get a stack overflow if you go too far into the negative.
Oh.
So it basically would loop, and there's like, well, we can't go super negative. So what we do here, guys, is we just say we stop it at 1. You can't roll 1 anyway, or anytime you roll 1, it's always a fail. And it's like, well, about that, we never said that before. So what are you doing? So I think that's the bigger issue. Is they were talking with Cyanide, and they were kind of doing that, not to put them under the bus or anything.
No, you can put them under the bus. That's fine.
I don't want to go ahead and start throwing negative shade at these people. They're a smaller company. I can throw it at GW. They're a big ass company.
I mean, the Cyanide is owned though by. Now I can't remember who they're owned by. They're owned by somebody big though. So
yeah, but again, not throwing that one under the bus too hard.
And they're not actually updating the Blood Bowl 3 video game rules until some nebulous point next year. They haven't exactly said when, but I mean that's fine. They're
They got to figure it out.
Only released today. It's fine. And if you're playing the tabletop game, you don't need to play the video game.
No,
it's fine. You don't need
video
it.
game is terrible. I've hated the video game.
Problem.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've discussed 2 of the 5 broken rule issues they need to at least clarify. One of the rules, which is now an official codified rule, is stalling.
Yes, this would be my next step.
And this was, I am in favor of the flavor of the rule, but they didn't explain it right.
They shat all over it.
So the problem in Blood Bowl is you're sometimes, and this happens in regular football too, you're sort of incentivized to just like sit on the ball and make sure that the game effectively comes to an end. It's a valid thing. But when you've only got 16 rounds to play a game over 2+ hours, it doesn't make the game terribly exciting anymore. So they added in a rule saying that if if your character can run it into the end zone without needing to roll any dice, and he doesn't, then that's stalling, and you have a chance of having somebody in the audience like huck a bottle or a battery at your head. You fall down. But the problem is there's so many but what ifs to this rule that they didn't bother to clarify yet. So like, if you have a player who has to worry about potentially being stupid and getting distracted, does that count as a die roll? Mm-hmm. If you're a vampire and you need to drink blood and you got to make your blood drink roll before you run in, does that count as having to roll a die? And what if you don't even activate your character on the turn? What if you turn over before you even get a chance to activate that guy? Does it activate retroactively? Does it activate? I mean, it's there's still a lot of what ifs. So
specifically on these what ifs, kind of tying back to the whole having to pick your die and whatnot, and doing the rushing piece. So there are actually people right now saying, if I have to, because it says if you have to make a die check, you don't have to. It doesn't count as
stalling, and you won't get a rock thrown at you.
So I'm gonna rush. My first move action is a rush. I gotta roll a die. I don't want to roll that die. I might fail it.
And remember, we're back to this. Can you only rush at the end of your movement, or can you rush at the beginning?
So these build up onto each other.
They do build up onto each other at that point. Another one that I figured out and I put in the Discord. Everyone's like, "There's like, well, wait a minute, that doesn't quite work that way." I'm like, "No, it says the ball carrier has to move. Mm-hmm. Does not say that you have to move the rest of your dudes." Mm-hmm. So if you put yourself in the dumbest position possible, which would
if you render yourself physically incapable of movement, which is a real stretch, but is possible.
It is possible at this point, because
since he's no longer capable of even moving. What does that mean as far as stalling goes?
You can't be called for stalling, mm-hmm. and that is actually one of the bigger ones. Everyone's like, "Well, wait a minute, that doesn't make sense." Like, no, it says specifically the ball carrier needs to move if able to. Ball carrier can't move. He's literally stuck in between.
He's like stuck in between like two lines of his own teammates.
Fully circled around it. I threw it up on there. Our Discord was like, that's stupid. That's not how this works. You just move the guy. Like, no, it says the ball carrier needs to move. The linemen don't move. They don't have to move.
Yeah.
So that's not stalling at that point. So that was one of the dumber things on that one. That and just the die itself was nebulous. I love the concept of the stalling, like that penalty to it.
Mm-hmm. Keeps the game moving, keeps it fresh, like funky.
Yeah. Like, I've never been a super fan of just doing the stall in the background. Like, if I've got time to stall, I got time putting your ass in the ground. Mm-hmm. I'm that player. Like, the Badland Brawl, like that's my style. Like, I just want to get in there and punch you into the ground.
You're ending friendships. Like, you don't care.
I mean, I kind of have here. So.
Remind me never play with Josh, all right?
No, you guys.
He's actually a great guy to play with. Actually.
No, I'm sure he is. He's like, don't kneel. Don't take the kneel. Go.
No. We're killing this off. We're all playing this.
Who wants to see kneels in the NFL, anyways?
So that was my actual point on this. We talked about it, and then everyone's kind of like, so about that Slanesh thing, and we all just kind of like gave up and just jumped off that one.
All these rules are not impossible to fix rules. It's just everything needs clarification, and we ain't got any yet. Spoiler alert.
I have one fix for I think the one rule that we're holding out to the end.
Okay, well, what rule do you want to discuss next? Because there's 5 big ones.
I want to talk about the big money league issue at the end. Mm-hmm. That's the one I want to hold to the end because I have a fix potentially for that. Okay. So I'll let you jump to the next
before we get into hiring and firing. We said what was it again? It was stalling. The weird quirks of movement, 1+ stats, hiring, firing, and what's the 5th one? I'm totally blank on.
I don't know.
The 4th issue is, do certain skills that are now called like active skills, do they count if your character is prone on the ground? There's a lot of people saying that no, you can't because of the way that the rules are wording. So they're saying that you can no longer do like certain like special actions if your guy starts on the ground, whereas in the previous edition that was never the case. You could always just get up and do a hypnogaze or a stab. But now there's a weird wording in the language of the rule that says if you start prone, you can't use your active skill because you're starting on the ground and or distracted.
Which, I mean, throw bomb was another one.
Well, that one's different because bomb has so many weird quirks to it. But
yeah, but I mean,
like
that was one that you used to be able to, like, if you were laying down, you couldn't do it. So
right. Well, no, that was always the case.
Yeah, so that one makes sense, kind of.
But no. The argument here is that you can't get up and then do that. Because with bomb, you're not allowed to move and throw a bomb at the same time, but you're always allowed to move and stab or hypnogaze. And now It's all sort of thrown up into the air, whether that's so. And again, I think this is a quick and easy clarification of them saying, oh, no, what we meant was this. Oh, okay, thanks, GW. Thanks for clarifying that. Okay, but so the biggest, I think, probably mechanically seems wrong issue is this fifth issue here with hiring and firing members on your team.
So what happened is normally before they would just say there's a hiring firing phase, and they would just kind of like leave it nebulous and whatnot. You'd just be able to go ahead and do your hiring, you do your firing, you do it all at once. But now they've gone ahead and bullet pointed it, so it's this order. So you hire your people first, then you fire your people, then you check to see if you've got X amount of people right. The problem is when you go to hire, you can't hire over a certain number. So let's say I've got 2 throwers, and my team only allows me to have 2 throwers. Now I can't go ahead and say, I'm going to fire this dude because his arm is broken. He's got a 6+ on his throw now.
He's a terrible thrower now.
I want to get rid of him.
His career is ruined. We can't keep him on the team.
So
He's an average Browns QB. We got to get him out of here.
We can't even do that now.
Yeah.
All we do is hire first and hope we can try to fire it. So the problem with that is like, I'm going to fire him. I have to wait a whole potential game or week to go ahead and come back to go ahead and do this, which means I'm now completely SOL on everything on this. And it's a simple fix. It's a very simple fix.
Unlike other rules where we need clarification, this one just seems like it was written wrong. Written wrong. Like they goofed it up, or they didn't think through it. It wasn't this way in the previous edition. This was not a problem in the previous edition. And again, I'm hoping it's just a simple fix of them saying, "Oh no, you can fire guys and then hire guys." That in a way that makes sense, like the previous game. Because if you're down a thrower and you need 2, and you have to hire a guy that you're not allowed to hire because you're limited to a max of 2. You're not allowed to fire anyone until you hire anybody, and you always have to have 11 on your roster now. Yes, you always have to have 11 guys, so you can't boot guys out and just hope for and get a journeyman to fill in for you anymore.
So the way they set it up now is it's you hire, then you fire, then you check for 11, and then you hire you call up journeyman. That's the way they set it up in the rules. The problem with that is when it does that check for 11, it checks based on current roster, and there's a really stupid rule on this as well. It's like a sub rule of this. So the game I'm playing, I finish out, I go ahead and have an issue where 4 of my dudes are knocked out, 3 of them are now broken, like bad arm or whatever. I'm getting rid of them. When it goes to check for the 11, I can now fire them, no penalties, no issues right now. If I were to go ahead and wait next time, because I'm already under 11, it's just like, oh, okay, cool. Yeah, whatever. You can just hire some journeymen. Oh, next week. Oh, well, now you've got 11. You can't go below 11.
You can't go below 11.
So it's like,
so you're almost hoping to use your apothecaries, your field doctors to purposely kill your injured guys so you don't have to fire.
Right.
So you slip. It's crazy. Although flavorfully, I think that's actually really hilarious. But as far as the game goes, it doesn't make any sense.
Pretty game breaking.
It's wrong. They gotta fix that one.
All they have to do to fix it, quite literally, is to change the bullet point set.
Yeah. Just
all it is
swap
fire
and fire.
Fire first, and then hire, and then it fixes basically everything. Because then you get rid of the check for 11 thing. Like I think that's kind of dumb, but I kind of get where they're getting at. That one should be dropped down at the end.
Yeah.
It's like hire journeyman because you're already going to need them. Check for 11, hire more journeymen. That's literally how it is. It should be it's a super simple fix. Just change the bullet points around. Again, I think it's an editor issue that just kind of went, I don't know. Oh, you chat GPT'd it? Cool, thank you. Let me go ahead and just throw this up there, and I'm done. I'm done with my work. Post-COVID time editing, it's just how this works.
I feel like this is a great time to jump into the fact that, so along with the release of the new edition, there's a number of products you could buy. You could buy, like the new box and all the stuff a la carte. So a supplementary thing they sell you when there's new teams is they'll put out something called a Spike magazine. And for this edition, they did a small, it's 24-ish pages little magazine for the Bretonians and for the Tomb Kings. And in both of these spikes that they put out, there are several instances of the rules in them being wrong.
I think.
So, yeah, again, I think I don't know if these were written before. They must have been written before the rules were finalized, or they were on completely separate teams that weren't speaking together about some of the issues. The main issues being that they give you like recommended rosters in these Spike magazines. They say, oh, here's an example of how to build a team. Here's a good team for you to build. But in their examples, and in both magazines, they're wrong, because they recommend you take more dedicated fans than you're allowed to take legally in the book. In the book, you can never purposely spend more than 3. You can't spend for more than 3. In the past, you could spend as many as you wanted.
As long as you had money, you can buy up to like 6 or 8 or something like that.
But in
never want to go above that.
In this new edition, they say you cannot buy more than 3 dedicated fans for your team. And in both of the Spikes, they recommend like 5 and 6 dedicated fan teams for an initial starting roster.
Which is really dumb.
If like you're like a diehard, like the Spikes are fine, but like I think they're a really they're not a great purchase. I think they're very superficial.
I like the weather tables.
Those are okay. Yes.
I like the weather tables, but then again, it's because I like the randomness. That's become my whole shtick at this point.
I've always felt they were a superficial purchase, and these 2 latest ones are not winning me over. So all we need some clarifications and maybe some rule changes. I think it was on the day before, the day after the actual release, Games Workshop did put out an FAQ/errata sheet.
It was the day before.
It was the day before. Okay.
It was the day before.
I'll send this to you as well. I'll send it to you real quick. But here are the 3 points that they added into the errata, and then it'll come up on the screen here, and you can see point number 1 for the Chaos Renegade team: add the Mighty Blow skill to the Ogre. Okay, bullet point 1. Bullet point 2 for the Human, Imperial Nobility, and Old World Alliance teams for their ogres: remove mutation access from their secondary skill list.
No, I was hoping to keep that.
We all knew that was a typo.
I know.
And rule 3 for the Old World Alliance team: you can only have 3 halflings instead of the listed 5 in the book. So these were all
cool.
These were all copy and paste. These were all copy and paste errors from one team to another in this edition, or the old teams into the new year teams this time. So all we got were 3 typo erratas. So that's all we have so far as clarification goes from GW.
And major nerfs to Josh's future team play that he's going to start playing.
You were really leaning into that mutation access.
No, I was just really leaning to OWA.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you don't need 5 halflings.
I mean, I had 4 because you throw them at things.
Well, thank you, gentlemen, for coming in today, talking about this. This was not rage bait. You guys watched it. You guys seen it. You guys heard it here. So if you have any questions, please leave them in the comments. They'll answer. And you can join our Discord. They're active in the Discord.
Jump into our Discord.
Exactly. I put that in the description for you guys to check out.
All right, nice.
Thank you, gentlemen, for coming on and talking as always. And I'm sure we'll be back next week or some other week.
Yeah. All right. Everybody have a good holiday Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't flip tables.
I'm a flip a table.